Thank you, everyone, for joining us here at the State of the District. My name is Rocky Fernandez. I am Senator Wieckowski's District Director. This is the 8th State of the District I've done, which now sounds pretty amazing. And we're very happy to be here at 42 Silicon Valley, who are very happy to host us. They've been fantastic hosts, very engaged, and we have this wonderful space. So can we thank them and thank the caterer for the fantastic food? And that's 3D Catering out of Newark, just so everybody knows. And with that, I'm very honored to welcome up the person who's going to welcome us to Fremont, and that is the Vice Mayor of Fremont, Mr. Raj Salwan.
Thank you, Rocky, for organizing a wonderful event. I'm always impressed with the Wieckowski staff. Let's give it up for all of them. They're running like a well-oiled machine. So how's everybody doing today? And how was the traffic coming over here? Bad? Don't blame me, though, okay? It's the state, no. Well, it's my honor to welcome all of you to the city of Fremont. We are here on the campus of 42 Silicon Valley, an innovative engineering college in the San Francisco Bay Area. As the leading college for software engineering, programming, and coding, they're disrupting engineering education as we know it, and they're creating a pipeline of new tech leaders. Fremont is on the cutting edge of high-tech, clean tech, biosciences, clean transportation, and advanced manufacturing. We pride ourselves in a quality education system in the city of Fremont, and have been recognized as one of the best run cities in America. And we have a saying, when you think of Fremont, think Silicon Valley. I would now like to introduce many of our distinguished elected officials that are here today who have taken time to be here. And there's many of them, so please bear with me. So we'll start with City of Union City, Mayor Carol Dutra-Vernacci. City of Hayward, Council Member Francisco Zermenio. Council Member Sarah Lamnin from Hayward. State Assembly Member Kansan Chu. AC Transit Director Mark Williams. Union Sanitary District Directors Pat Kite and Tom Handley, and of course Anjali Lati. From San Leandro, we have Vice Mayor Corina Lopez. And again, Mark Williams has two hats. He's also representing Fong Law, our Alameda County assessor. As for Fong Law, Fred Tovar from Gilroy City Council. Satinder Mulhi from the Office of CSU East Bay Division. And Ann Crosby from our very own Fremont Unified School District. And Sarbjit Chima from New Haven School Board. And Peggy Herndon, former Fremont Unified School District board member. We have Desiree Campbell from the Fremont Unified School District. There's Desiree. We have Jim Canova from Santa Clara Unified School Board. Jeff Wong from New Haven Unified School Board. Where's Jeff? There he is. We have Anna Apodaca, former Newark council member. Laura Calvert from Fremont Unified School Board, former, retired. And Minani Jameson from HARD Board. Mallory Deloro, Office of Congress Member Swalwell. From Santa Clara County Board of Education, we have Kathleen King. Okay, I think that's it. Great. Well, at this time, I'm very excited to introduce our Senator, Bob Wieckowski. He was reelected in November 6, 2018, and he represents the 10th Senate District in the California State Legislature. This district stretches from southern Alameda County all the way to Santa Clara County and shares the members' focus on job creation, clean technologies, protecting our environment, and reducing unnecessary regulations. Mr. Wieckowski chairs the Budget and Fiscal Review Subcommittee 2 on Resources, Environmental Protection, Energy and Transportation. He is also a member of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, Budget, Fiscal Review, Environmental Equality, Housing, Judiciary, and Transportation. And he is a member of the Executive Committee of the Council of State Governments West. I don't know how he gets anything done. He's got so many committee assignments. Senator Wieckowski's district is home to some of the state's leading clean tech technologies. Whether it's solar panels, electrical vehicles, or breakthrough technologies, the 10th Senate District is a major contributor to the California clean economy. The senator is a state leader in advocating for climate adaptation programs and has participated at all levels from local, regional, as well as international settings. And he is a leading authority on climate change. I'll take a personal liberty. He's also the master of ADUs. I have never seen, he's like a dog on a bone in that regard. This was something he worked on in Planning Commission, and then on City Council, Vice Mayor, Assembly Member, and Senator, and he made it happen. So let's give it up for that, for the ADUs. And this is a great program to build housing where there's already the infrastructure, and we allow people to stay in our communities, and we prevent displacement. So that is a huge accomplishment, and you have really led the effort on that, so we are to be very much commended. He has received many awards. He is a strong voice in the legislature for consumers and low-income earners. He received the Champion of Justice Award from the East Bay Community Law Center for fighting against abusive debt collectors and oppressive wage garnishments. Statewide organizations have selected him as the Legislator of the Year, and the California Judges Association has given him Scales of Justice Award for his steadfast support for increased court funding. Tech America has named him Legislator of the Year. Mr. Wieckowski is a bankruptcy attorney, and he has helped hundreds of families avoid bankruptcy and to persevere through economic hardships and to allow them to keep their homes and live with respect and dignity. He received his BA from University of California and his JD from Santa Clara Law School. Senator Wieckowski lives in our great home of Fremont with his lovely wife, Sue. With that, please welcome the man of the hour, our great beloved senator, Senator Bob Wieckowski.
Oh my God, thank you, Raj. And let's thank all the students at 42 Silicon Valley and the host here, you know, 0 teachers, 0 classes, 0 tuition, 100% coding. Let's make it happen. I had the pleasure of touring the location last week, and I was impressed, as I believe all of you are, with the opportunity for young people to really apply their skills. I don't understand everything about coding, I'll admit that, but you know, the dormitories that are here, this used to be DeVry University, and so the dormitories that are here, the opportunity that people have to live for free, go to school for free, and just make it happen is part of that. You know, we talk about disruptive economy or just agents of disruption, and it's happening here at 42 Silicon Valley, so bravo to you folks. Tonight, we're going to pay tribute to and congratulate individuals and organizations that comprise the 10th Senate District, communities, and our heroes. But and we're going to highlight the importance of the work that they do and the varied contributions that they make. But first, let's get an update of the legislative year and a little bit about some of those crucial achievements that we've made. First, though, I want everyone to think of a number. Now, it's not one of these 1 through 10 deals. It's bigger than that. So here we go. 13,860 billion. I told you it was a big number. 13,860 billion. That's the amount of consumer debt in the United States of America today. That's our mortgages, student loans, car loans, and credit cards combined. It's a number at its all-time high, and it's growing as we sit here. Taking on debt and taking out a loan is not always a sign of weakness or trouble. You know, and sometimes to achieve our biggest goals, we have to take out a loan to buy a house, or you want to go to school and get buried in debt, but you want to enter the workforce prepared to do your future work. We know that millions of Californians are living paycheck to paycheck, however, and that when they're burdened with debt, it often can be devastating and affect on their financing. So, as I've said before here and on the stump, I believe that income inequality and climate change are two of the biggest issues that are facing us at this time. That's why that I focus a lot of my policies on pursuing legislation that's going to lift people up from the bottom of the income scale and lift them out of debt. These are not people looking for a handout. These are people who are working 1, sometimes 2 jobs, raising kids, and are just looking for a hand up. We read stories all the time about people coming out of college who are burdened with student debt and putting off some of life's treasured moments, whether it's buying a condo or home, getting married, or having kids. They feel that the load of debt on their shoulders prohibits them from doing it. So this year, I introduced Senate Bill 477 that would provide California's college-educated residents a tax credit. This is a tax credit on your state income tax return, which would be equal to the amount of the student loan interest that you were paying during the year. Now, there were some limitations that apply, but it would have put $2.8 billion in the hands of young people who are paying off their student loans by the year 2021-22. That bill was held in the Assembly Revenue and Tax Committee at least for another year. But I had 2 other bills that I authored concerning debt. One, SB 616 with Majority Leader Bob Hertzberg and Assemblymember Luz Rivas, and another bill, SB 187, which passed the legislature and are now sitting on the governor's desk. That's going to be a theme tonight, sitting on the governor's desk. So SB 616 prevents debt collectors from emptying out the bank accounts of Californians, which is totally allowed under the law today. That's right, 0, every penny in your bank account. Now, debt collectors are also notorious for seeking to collect from the wrong person. Old debt gets bought and sold by companies, the paperwork gets lost, and often the person whose account is emptied by a collector does not actually owe the debt, or they were never notified beforehand. That happens thousands of times each year here in California. But it's not going to happen next year if the governor signs SB 616. Beginning in January of 2020, collectors would be required to leave at least $1,724 in every account. And that's $1,724 to be adjusted annually by the social services that reflects the changing cost of living here in California. There is a current claim of exemption process that people can go through, but it's cumbersome, it's time-consuming, and it only protects the funds after they've been levied and taken out of the account. And often people have missed rent, they've missed some other payment, they're incurring late fees. So sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes months for them to get the money back if they're actually able to get it back from the claim of exemptions. SB 616 does not erase a legitimate debt, but it does give people the financial security and the knowledge that $1,724 will automatically remain in their bank accounts. And we've worked hard with organized labor over the years to establish a living wage and a fair pay for people. Let's not let a collector come and take the money that we've earned away in one big swoop. It's important because the number of unbanked Californians is significant. Now, when you're unbanked, you're unable to build on your assets, and you're using high-priced check cashing services and money orders. When you listen to discussion about income inequality, remember, it's not always about the amount of income that people make. It's about all these other policies that contribute to the growing income divide. Staying on the topic of debt, for just one more moment, back in 1977, Congress passed the Fair Debt Collection Reporting Act, and California approved its Rosenthal Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Now, these two acts working together were designed to protect consumers from abusive collection agencies. They were designed to prevent intimidation, to prevent abuse and harassment, and to stop collectors from calling you all hours of the day and over and over and over at work. But the law was silent on whether that applies to collection agencies trying to collect mortgage debt. And there were also some conflicting court cases that came in. So that's why I authored SB 187, which is also on the governor's desk. And 187 basically says that mortgage debt is covered under the state act, and it also removes this exemption that they had for attorneys that could hassle people or counselors at large that were not subject to the act. So now they're in. So debt collection is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And so that if these bills get approved, in order to get them approved, I had to partner with other organizations like the Western Center on Law and Poverty, the California Low Income Consumer Coalition, the Alexander Community Law Center at Santa Clara Law School, and several other organizations. SB 616 was a 3-year effort. There was a lot of money interest on the other side and a lot of do-gooders on our side. But this year, we won in the legislature, and we're waiting for the governor, once again, to do the right thing and sign the bill. The Governor Newsom has a chance to send a message during this time where the Trump administration is looking to weaken the federal consumer protection laws and say that California stands with consumers and against these unlawful and abusive practices. Now, another controversial subject, because I sort of waltz around on controversial subjects that I believe, but it's also tied to this larger issue of income inequality, is mandatory or forced arbitration. Now, that's when, as a condition of your employment, or when you want to use a company's services or products, you sign away your right to pursue your claim in a court of law. I have voted to ban forced arbitration outright because I believe that we all have a right to use the public judicial process to have our day in court rather than a private arbitration company. But I've also authored several bills over the course of my time in the legislature that will beef up arbitration companies' reporting requirement so we know what they're doing, what type of judgments they're rendering, to make sure that people can have a certified court reporter to transcribe the arbitration so in case they want to use it in appeal, and banning language in employment contracts that required California employees to have arbitration in another state across the country applying another state's law. So now in California, if you have arbitration dispute with your employer, it's being done in California and applying California law. So here we go. Not satisfied with forced arbitration agreements, some large companies, Chipotle, Uber, you've read, and some others, have been named and trying to really tweak the scales of justice even more in their direction. What they're trying to do is skirt their corporate responsibility under the arbitration clauses that they wrote in the agreement and forced upon their workers in the first place. So first, they instituted forced arbitration. Okay. Then they blocked a class action suit for these people in arbitration. It's an arbitration class action, sort of an unusual thing. So what happened? Workers could not go to courts because that's banned, and they could not join together to file a class action arbitration. So they only had one action was for thousands of employees to file individual arbitration actions against their employer. You know what? They did it. Chipotle employees did it. Uber employees did it. So now what do the companies do? They refuse to pay the arbitration fee. So you got to pay a fee so this private arbitrator will adjudicate or listen to the complaint. They didn't pay them, and everybody's in limbo with no place to go. And the arbitrator is saying, hey, no money, no action. I'm not dealing with this. It's not like court. This is unbelievably unacceptable. I mean, unacceptable is at one level. This is higher than just unacceptable, and that's why Majority Leader Bob Hertzberg and I jointly authored Senate Bill 707. And the bill allows a worker to pursue their claims and deter companies from breaching their own arbitration clauses. It determines that it's a material breach if the employer does not pay the fees within 30 days. And then the employee can go skippity-skip into state court and actually have a judge determine their dispute. Or they can compel the arbitrator, the company to pay. It has another important requirement also that I want to bring out. It requires demographic information from the arbitration firms. Again, these are private firms. A 2015 survey of practicing employment arbitrators found that 74% of them were males and 92% were Caucasian. Now take a look around this room. Do you see 92% Caucasians in this room? They don't, the arbitration judges don't look like the people who are in arbitration. So it's a critical pool of information that we have on these private arbitrators so that arbitration begins to reflect the diversity that, and the backgrounds of the people that they're bringing the claims to. So this bill, once again, is on the governor's desk. It's supported by workers, by organized labor, by consumers up and down the states, and it really needs to be signed. And let me say, I will continue to bring transparency and accountability to the arbitration process. SB 707 is my fourth bill that I've passed through the legislature to shine some light on and bring some fairness into the system. Now, another area where transparency is critical is the public's right to know about their government, right? As I did in 2018, this year I worked with the California News Publishers Association to protect people who request public records. Now, Senate Bill 518 strengthens the California Public Records Act by preventing government agencies from attempting to shift the attorney costs onto the public records requester, the individual. Under the California Code of Civil Procedures, Section 998, we call it the 998 offers. Those are settlement offers. And if they're rejected, they provide the offering party, which would be the government, is entitled to recover its litigation costs in the event that the rejecting party fails to obtain a better result at trial. That's all fine and dandy in a regular civil case where you're going back and forth with two sides. Settlement offers are very important, but it has no place in the Public Records Act domain. Threatening a requester with a Section 998 settlement offer means that you're going to frighten people who to not seek access to their government held information. It's just wrong. And that's why I pushed Senate Bill 518 through the legislature, and I hope the governor signs it. It's on his desk. One bill where I'm not taking on the debt collectors, or I'm not fighting the Chamber of Commerce or some other powerful special interests, is Senate Bill 267. I want to tell you folks about it. My office was contacted by a Foreign Service officer from Santa Clara who's now serving in Europe. And he had this idea that it would give Foreign Service officers more time to renew their driver's license because they're abroad serving the country and their California driver's license expires. So they're doing their bit to serve the country, and we decided to give them the same treatment that military personnel get, because if you're in the military and your license expires, you get extension. So we had the ambassadors who served in Germany, New Zealand, and Hungary all supported the bill. So I have three more bills that are on the governor's desk, and they relate in some way to housing. I got Mr. ADU here, got a call, the vice mayor gave me a shout out about the bills that I'm working on. We have to do all of the above when I look at the options on affordable housing. We must build more affordable housing, we must build more near transit, and we need to help renters as they too are being displaced. So I'm leading the way on accessory dwelling units or granny flats or mother-in-law flats, and make sure that that becomes a reality here in California. For 3 years, I've been speaking on panels, I've been participating in ADU town halls, appearing on podcasts, and doing what I can, a Pied Piper of ADUs, to spread the news about mother-in-law units. Reforms that I pushed in 2016 have helped California homeowners build thousands of these units over the past 3 years, but I want more. We can do better, and we can do it more quickly. With bipartisan support, the legislature approved SB 13, which is my ADU bill. It eliminates developer impact fees for units that are less than 750 square feet. And anything larger than 750 feet, it would be proportional to the size of the house. That's a big deal, folks. That's like throughout the state, that's a big deal that you don't have to pay these fees. It temporarily bans owner occupancy requirements. I would have preferred to never have an owner occupancy requirement because we don't have that on duplexes and triplexes. It's the only type of housing that some folks require it, and it also creates an amnesty program. I've been telling audiences that there are probably 500,000 bootleg units in the state of California. People that go into the planning department, find out it's going to cost them 40 grand. They say, well, maybe I'll change my mind. We'll go on a European vacation, and then secretively build it in their backyard. So this is going to give an opportunity for people to come out of the darkness and legally claim the ADU. It's also going to allow the cities that have to make these regional housing need numbers, automatically they're going to be able to count that. And ADUs offer other benefits. They can be constructed without public subsidies. They're more affordable by design. They're small, and they don't increase the density, as Vice Mayor Saul once said, with the existing footprint of the house. They're a garage conversion or an add-on or a separate unit. And they also allow seniors population to age in place if they want to have a renter or somebody that's there that if they need to be taken care of or if they just need extra income for homeowners. And young people actually have an opportunity here. I envision sometime when some of these ADUs will actually go up for sale so that you could buy a starter home that was 750 feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, which some of our grandparents started off there. So we've seen tremendous progress since 2016, and we know that, again, I intimated, some cities are charging fees of $50,000 just for the benefit of submitting your application. So I hope the governor signs SB 13. There's a huge bipartisan support and a huge coalition of business, environmentalists, and nonprofit affordable housing advocates that are sort of standing, waiting for this bill to come to fruition. The legislature has also approved my second housing bill, which is Senate Bill 323. Now, this bill would straighten the integrities of elections in California's more than 50,000 homeowners association. That's right, there are about 50,000 HOAs in California where 9 million Californians live, and they're under their rules. Sometimes these rules are not fairly applied, especially around elections. In fact, we found out that when they created the Davis-Sterling Act and created the opportunity to have HOAs, there's been no other legislation about having elections. There's just, you have to have the initial one, and then what are the rules after that? So SB 323 limits the power of incumbent boards to set arbitrary qualifications for homeowners wanting to run for a board seat. It requires that an inspector of elections be a neutral third party, not an employee of the HOA, and that the ballots be counted in an accessible location. My last bill on the governor's desk is Senate Bill 303, and this addresses conservatorships. When people are unable to take care of themselves, you go into court, you get a conservator appointed. The bill raises the current evidentiary standard to provide more oversight for the removal of a conservatee, that's the person being protected, from his or her home. And it strengthens the protection that the conservatee's government benefits, Social Security and those type of things, are being used to cover the conservatee's fees. All right. In some cases, the sale of a home may be necessary, but prematurely selling a home and removing somebody who's conserved from their home can have a devastating impact on their health and their finances. So SB 303 makes a difficult situation better. As I stated at the beginning, climate change is one of the premier issues of our time. Recently, 2 Fridays ago, we had thousands of Americans, thousands of world citizens, especially our youth, were out on the streets marching about the urgency of our climate issues. And they're right. It is an urgent time. We have 8 to 9 years to fix this, and it's up to guys like me and gals that get elected, that are in the public domain, to say, let's do something. So I'm the chair of the Budget and Fiscal Review Subcommittee on Environmental Protection, Energy, and Transportation. So what does that mean? I have jurisdiction over how we invest in our programs to curb greenhouse gases and adapt to a changing environment. Just last week, we celebrated a local success story right here in Fremont. It started in 2017 when the Resilience by Design Bay Area Challenge kicked off. And this was a comprehensive effort to address the dangers of sea level rise right here in the Bay Area. There were over 90 organizations and firms, including some that with national and international experience, that came together in teams to design different projects on resiliency. One of those projects involved the Alameda Creek. What the project's going to do is going to link the creek with its historic baylands. It connects the sediment flow from the Alameda Creek to the marshes and the mudflats at the bay's edge. And it's great for the creek, it's great for the wildlife habitat, and it's great for the public as it unfolds, because they're going to allow people to come closer in to the creek's edge. I secured almost $31.4 million in this year's budget to finance the first phase of the project. Now, last week I joined with representatives of the state's Department of Water Resources, the Alameda County Flood Control District, Greenbelt Alliance, Audubon, California, and members from the Resilience of Design team to celebrate the project's inclusion in the state budgets. Projects like the one in Alameda Creek will keep us safer from sea level rise, and other regions can benefit from learning how we are adopting here in the Bay Area and replicate these projects in their own communities. No 2 projects are exactly the same, but if the hydrologists are right, and by allowing all this mud to flow out into the bay and resettle in Redwood City or Mountain View or wherever it's going to settle, it could combat up to 1 foot of sea level rise. That's naturally allowing the river to function the way it was supposed to function, and tearing out some of the concrete that we put in. And we're making other progress around the region, especially with the Sabercat Creek Trail. There on Interstate I-80 in Irvington. I got funding for the planning and design phase of a project in the state budget that will eventually help us open that gateway to our natural history pedestrian Sabercat Trail. It's going to build a bike and pedestrian overpass over 680 and link the trail, link Dalval Reservoir, and eventually all the open space in that area with at this archaeological dig site. There's also a museum in the plan, which will be a collaborative, cooperative museum with UC Berkeley, Fremont Unified School District, the city of Fremont, Caltrain, the Math Science Nucleus, so we all can learn about our natural historic past. At the state level, we're striving to meet our 2030 climate goals by transitioning to more vehicles, trucks and buses, to electric power to reduce their emissions, adding more charging stations across the state, and fighting to prevent wildfires. We've invested in more air tankers, more state-of-the-art helicopters, and more fire engines on the fire side. And we're also investing in more prevention and more prescribed burns so that we'll continue to meet this challenge. I will have my hands full once again when we return to the session in January. I've spoken at several international climate summits, including 2 this year, because people see California as a global leader on climate change. There's a void in Washington, D.C. We know. And we will continue to lead the way on climate change if it means suing the Trump administration to protect our clean air standards and our clean air waiver authority that we've had for 50 years through Republican and Democratic administrations. So next year, I will push again for reforming California's outdated bottle recycling bill to expand recycling here in the state of California, set mandatory content limits, improve the market, and increase the responsibility of the producers. If they can do it in Europe, then we can do it here in California. And I think it's also time that we demand oil companies that have worsened our environment and stick us often with the cleanup bill when they decide that they're no longer producing oil. Every oil-producing state in the United States has an oil severance tax. And under my bill, SB 246, California will too. So, California has shown that environmental sustainability and a strong economy go hand in hand. This region continues to thrive throughout the year. I visit growing companies in the 10th Senate District that are opening up their facilities or they've got new growth. We're the hub of innovation, the innovation economy, and that's propelling California and the rest of the world forward. Tomorrow is going to be National Manufacturing Day in the 10th Senate District. I'm going to a company that was started by a group of women here in the district. The 10th Senate District, when I get up to Sacramento and I talk about clean tech, we're way ahead of the second district. Like by tenfold, we produce more jobs in the clean tech sectors. And it's not just the large companies. It's small firms, many of them mom and pop operations that have found their niche in the market, and they keep going year in and year out. I like to highlight those firms because small businesses are really the backbone of our economy. Too often people forget that it's small businesses that really make us move forward. And a lot of us, our first experience was in the private sector was with a small operation. So remember the shop local and independent stores. Now my district office and I host a number of local events, often with Assemblymember Kansan Chu or Bill Quirk, to help these companies improve their marketing. But we also hold a number of senior scam stopper events and other forums. In fact, the next event with Assemblymember Quirk and Supervisor Nate Miley will be a Halloween safety fair with free treats and resources from 3 to 5 on Thursday, October 24th at the Castro Valley Library. And my district office regularly holds office hours. Oh, how about that? The governor just signed SB 267, the foreign driver's license. Wow. That's #1 this year. So all the foreign service officers are relaxing. Okay. So my district office regularly holds office hours throughout the 10th Senate District. We have an office in Paseo Pache, but we go to Castro Valley, the Santa Clara, and all over. And, so constituents will have some, if they're having difficulty with a state agency or they just want to learn more about some programs. And as Vice Mayor Saul once says, I'm blessed to have a really terrific staff. I have no idea why they work for me, but I'm just blessed. Both here in the district and in Sacramento. Many of them are here today. The deliverer of the news, Derek Chernell, is here. My legislative director, Heather Reciteras, communications director, Jeff Barboza, legislative aides April Bird and Francisco Montez, scheduler and office manager Grace Leakley. You met my district director, Rocky Fernandez, and my field representatives are Andre Wara Macapinlac, Sean Manalo, and Tim Orozco. Krishma Khatri and Lisa Price are all in the back. Thank you guys for what you do. And finally, I couldn't do what I do without my lovely wife, Sue Lemke. I mean, she puts up with all this stuff. She's heard this speech 6 times. No, she's, Sue, you're an angel. Thank you for letting me do what I want to do. And representing the 10th Senate District is really the highlight of all my years in public service. It's fun for me to do what I do. I'm proud of the accomplishments I have. I embrace the challenges, and we have a wonderful, diverse community that I get to represent. I'm looking forward to building on the achievements next year, and it's an honor and privilege, once again, to be your state senator. So now, on with the show. We have our first presenter here, and I would like to invite Fremont Unified School Board Trustee Ann Crosby to introduce our first honoree, with Carol Ducevernacci on deck. This is Crosby. There you go.
Thank you. I'm so proud to be a constituent of the senator. I'll just say that up front. My name is Ann Crosby, and I am a trustee from Fremont Unified School District. I'm so honored to be here to introduce our hometown hero, Kate Amon. Woo! Kate Bernstein Amon has lived in the Bay Area all her life. She was born in San Francisco and grew up in Marin County. Got her engineering degree from UC Berkeley. Always expect to hear "Go Bears" from somebody in the audience. And then went to work in Silicon Valley in the semiconductor industry. In 1992, at her first half marathon, Kate met her husband-to-be, Lee Amon. In 1994, after their wedding, Kate and Lee moved to Fremont, where they raised their son and daughter. In 2002, Kate and Lee started a business which would become Kate's Caring Gifts, an organic, fair trade gift business certified as a Bay Area green business, which they operated for 12 years. Inspired by gratitude, they have contributed to our community by participating in neighborhood building efforts like the Community Emergency Response Team, where they served as district coordinators for Centerville for several years. Kate has served as a leader for both Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and is the neighborhood watch captain for her street. If you are a resident of Fremont, you undoubtedly have heard about Christmas Place, an annual holiday display started in 1967 by Robert Spider Cantley as a fundraiser for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society in honor of his mother. What you may not realize is that when Mr. Cantley retired and moved from Fremont in 2004, Christmas Place was at risk of being no more. But thanks to Kate, that did not happen. In 2005, Kate rallied her neighbors to create an all-volunteer group called Christmas Club. The motto and motivation of the Christmas Club is to promote community, charity, and childhood joy. And can you think of a better motivation? The neighborhood holiday display, think downtown Disney, it is amazing, and fundraiser expanded from the original Crips Place to encompass 5 streets of 90 homes and raises thousands of dollars for charities every year, including local organizations like SAVE, HERS Breast Cancer Foundation, Adopt an Angel, and recently, Ohlone Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. Hundreds of high school students have learned about community service by helping the neighbors set up decorations for Christmas Place under Kate's guidance. 2019 marks Kate's 15th year as president of the Christmas Club. She continues to personally deliver to every new neighbor of the Christmas place a welcome gift so newcomers feel included and encouraged to be involved in their community. Please give a warm welcome to our local hero honoree, Kate Amon.
Teresa King, Fremont City Council, has arrived. Teresa, welcome. Next up is Carol Dutra-Vernacci, and on deck would be Carmen Montano. Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Senator. And as he mentioned, I am Union City Mayor Carol Dutra-Vernacci. And Senator, I'd like to thank you for your presentation this evening. I'm especially thrilled about the work you've been doing around finances, the bankruptcy and what have you. That's just so fantastic and helping so many in this area. Now, back to the reason I'm standing here today. I am here because I was asked and was delighted to accept to present the award for our Union City hero. Her name is Ann Boylan. Okay, you're going to have to stay up here for a few minutes, Ann, because I'm going to read, okay? You can sit if you like, but she was the school teacher, not me, so. In any case, Ann certainly was no stranger to me. So let me just read the script, and I'm going to go off script a little bit at parts. So while many of us look forward to having a peaceful retirement, back in 2012, Ann was struck with the unexpected news that she had Parkinson's disease. After announcing her retirement of 33 years of teaching, she finds she has Parkinson's disease. So what does she do? She's shocked and asked the doctor, what is Parkinson's disease? And then changed it to, what can I do about it? Her doctor responded, fitness counts. Since then, she's taken fitness to heart. Ann became determined in 2015 that our Union City local gym, the Mark Green Sports Center, would be among the first recipients of the Parkinson's Foundation Moving Day local grants. These grants support the communities in which the Moving Day events take place. Today, the Union City Sports Center offers Parkinson dance, power moves, boxing, yoga, and spinning, as well as Parkinson support groups and a support group for caregivers of loved ones with this disease. In recognition of her effort to encourage Parkinson's exercise, awareness, and support in her community, and her leadership on behalf of women in the landmark Women and Parkinson's Disease Initiative, the Parkinson's Foundation awarded Ann the 2019 Paul Orphis Volunteer of the Year Award, the foundation's highest and most distinguished recognition of volunteer leadership. This award is given to an individual volunteer for making a broad and substantial impact in the Parkinson's community, not only in their own community, but nationally and beyond. The recipient must exhibit extraordinary understanding, passion, and compassion for all people directly or indirectly impacted by Parkinson's. I can personally attest to that because a few years back, as it was mentioned, when Ann got involved with this, I got an email or a phone call, I can't remember which, from her saying she heard about these grants and she wanted to figure out how Union City could get involved. So I connected her with the Union City Recreation Services staff folks, and they jumped on it immediately because like they were saying, wow, this is groundbreaking. It would be great to be on the ground floor. And then Ann takes that ball and she runs with it, gets it going. Then what does she do? She comes to a city council meeting to give a presentation. It was on the agenda, so I had to let her go past 3 minutes. But in any case, because she is the retired school teacher, she came to the council meeting with handouts, graphs, charts, and everything else. So it was a very, very excellent presentation, and I expect nothing less from Ann. Now, as far as her background, Ann is a graduate with honors in American Studies from Grinnell College and Brown University, where she earned a Master's of Arts in Teaching. She has been recognized as an Alameda County Teacher of the Year, a Woman of the Year by the California State Assembly, and a KQED Asian American Local Hero. Ann is a proud daughter of a mother of the Nessie generation and a father. Nisei, I pronounce it. When I read it to myself, I got it right, but she just corrected me. Nisei generation, and a father who served overseas during the Second World War. She is joined by her husband of 41 years, William, and this is where I go off script again. I wasn't going to mention it, but I'm always so proud of this. Her husband was my freshman counselor at Logan High School. It was hard to switch from calling him Mr. Boylan to Bill, because we also appointed him to be one of Union City's Park and Rec commissioners a few years back as well. In any case, back to their family. She's joined by Bill, and unfortunately, both of their sons, Daniel and Liam, could not be here this evening. Her family roots are from Hawaii, so Ann has a love of hula and Hawaiian music. For her courage and indelible record of community engagement, we honor her tonight. Please help me welcome Ann Boylan as our 2019 Senate District Local Hero.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see. Next up is Councilmember Carmen Montano from Milpitas, and on deck will be Councilmember Aisha Wahab.
Thank you for hosting us. Thank you very much. I wanted to say thank you, Senator Wieckowski, for doing this wonderful program. So many people are acclaimed, are recognized for doing great things in this community. So, and thank you, Evelyn. So, can I take this off? So with great respect for my friend Evelyn that I've known for quite a while, she is always giving of herself to the community, and I'm so proud that you got this award. So, and remember that song? And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on. This is what reminds me.
She can't resist singing.
I love it. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm a karaoke person. So anyway, good evening. My name is Carmen Montano, and I have the honor of serving on the Milpitas City Council. It is such a privilege to introduce our next honoree, Evelyn Chua. So a little bit about Evelyn. So Evelyn has lived in Milpitas for 30 years with her husband, Conrad, and her daughter, Waylon. Service before self. is the mantra that she learned from her brother, who gave the ultimate sacrifice of life while serving in the military. Service to others, as in community service, is also the legacy that she wants to leave with her granddaughters and family. Evelyn truly believes that one person's contribution is sufficient to make a difference in another person's life. And I just wanted to mention that Evelyn shared with me that her brother that she loved so much passed away, and so this is a very special occasion for her. So, thank you. So for decades, Evelyn has been involved in many organizations and activities such as showcasing students' projects in arts, the environment, mental health, and human trafficking. She also is instrumental in collaborating with churches, city and students in the community, cleanups, and neighborhood beautification projects. She also took the initiative in leading to install a safety zone where online buyers and sellers can transact business safely. This is located in front of our Milpitas Police Department, and I thought that was a really great idea, because when you buy and sell on the internet, you don't know who you're going to be encountering. So that was a wonderful idea. Also, she was the chairperson for the Water Task Force to find options to reduce water fees, because as you all know, water is always going up, and it's one of those things that it's a very rare commodity that we need, yeah. So we need to survive on it. And so also, she currently serves on the Milpitas City Planning Commission. So she, every project that comes before us to approve, make that final decision, she's diligent and always looking for, what I really admire about her, she's always looking to see, well, how is this going to impact the community? So that's wonderful. Evelyn's work was not unnoticed by the community, as she has been the recipient of numerous awards and acclamations, including the Milpitas Citizen of the Year in 1999. And now I would like to help present with Senator Wieckowski this recognition to Evelyn Chua as a 2019 Local Hero of the 10th Senate District. Thank you so much.
Senator Wieckowski, if I may, I would like to bring along my friends from Milpitas and neighboring San Jose. They braved the 15, 17 miles from Milpitas to Fremont in an hour and a half traffic. So they deserve to be here to take pictures with us. Thank you so much. Come on up.
All right, so I'd like to ask Councilmember Aisha Wahad to come forward with Councilmember Francisco Zamorano on deck. Thank you very much.
And are we waiting? Okay, anyways. So I just want to make sure that all of us give a big round of applause to Senator Bob Wieckowski for putting on this annual event. So I want us all to scream and just say, "Thank you, Senator Bob." Thank you, Senator Bob. Definitely. So I'm truly, truly honored being here. My name is Aisha Wahab. I'm a Hayward City Council member. And I am very, very privileged to be honoring, on Bob's behalf, technically, and the entire district's behalf, our next honoree, Rochelle Collins. Thank you, Rochelle. Now, Rochelle is somebody that we all need to respect and admire. Rochelle has an incredible work ethic and a backstory that is phenomenal. Primarily, Rochelle is serving currently as the Director of Adolescent and Adult Outpatient Treatment and Intensive Outpatient Treatment in Central and East Alameda at Project Eden. Project Eden, a program of Horizon Services. Previously, she was the Director of Adolescent Substance Use Disorders Prevention, Early Intervention and Pre-Treatment and Outpatient Treatment Services at Project Eden for 18 years. Now, this is not an easy job, and as a person who has a sister as a social worker, I will tell you the horror stories that social workers and individuals that work in mental health, substance abuse, and so much more have to deal with on a daily basis. Rochelle is also a doctorate student in psychology, having obtained her master's degree in clinical social work, and specializes in working with children, youth, and families regarding substance use and mental health disorders. This is a passion for Rochelle. Rochelle has over 30 years of experience counseling, managing programs, and working with the community to reduce problems related to substance use and mental health disorders. She combines her clinical counseling expertise with her leadership skills to empower children, youth, and families to build their resiliency in all aspects of life. She has also advocated for Alameda County Behavioral Health in establishing an LGBTQ Pride Committee, which hosts an annual LGBTQ+ training for service providers, teachers, law enforcement, clergy, and others who work with LGBTQ youth and families. Now, Rochelle is all about inclusion, and her work clearly defines that. She's also all about education and the human spirit. That is what Rochelle's legacy is. And I will say that one of Rochelle's most memorable accomplishments has been hosting the gay prom. She has had the honor of directing the event for 17 of the 25 years the event has been in existence. And if you guys remember, the LGBTQ community has had a very difficult journey from the 80s up till now. Times have changed, and the interaction with the LGBTQ community has also changed because of people like Rochelle that are tolerant, inclusive, and also work to ensure that all people are treated equally. Now, the gay prom is an institution that is the longest consecutive gay prom in the world, receiving recognition from the City of Hayward Public Library, and with a 2013 documentary at the San Francisco International LGBTQ Film Festival titled Now We Can Dance, the Story of the Hayward Gay Prom. Rochelle Collins strives to uplift individuals struggling with mental health and substance abuse issues and wants to strengthen their ability to address life-changing, challenging challenges in a healthy manner. She is dedicated and committed to improving the quality of life for children, youth, families, and the communities she serves. Rochelle is looking forward to stepping out of the role of director and providing direct services to youth, adults, and their family members. Please give a warm welcome to our local hero and honoree, Rochelle Collins.
So I jumped ahead. I would like to ask Board of Trustee Jim Canova to present the next trustee, and on deck will be Margaret Jackson. Here you go. Yeah, you're gonna, you do the introduction. You got, I'm just getting you on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Jim Canova, and I serve on the governing board of the Santa Clara Unified School District. I'm honored to be here and proud to introduce our next honoree, Sam Kumar. Sam is the eldest of 4 brothers and grew up in India with a large extended family. In the early 1980s, he immigrated to America for a college education and attended Northern Illinois University. He obtained his bachelor's degree in computer science in 1984. Soon thereafter, he was recruited by Philips Corporation as an associate programmer analyst and moved to Santa Clara. In 1989, he joined Hewlett-Packard and worked there for a decade. During that period, he also married and had 2 sons. In 2000, Sam retired from HP and focused on growing his restaurant, Ma Yuri, which opened on June 19, 1999. I like that date, June 19, 1999. Besides running a successful business and attracting many customers, Sam generously opened his restaurant doors to the Santa Clara community for many activities, such as Chamber of Commerce mixers, 4th of July celebrations, cultural festivals, interfaith community gatherings, nonprofit events and political functions, and senior recreational activities and social occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, and weddings. And of course, immediately, Ma Yuri gained a reputation for being the venue to hold events and charitable fundraisers in Santa Clara. And thanks to Sam, Ma Yuri never charged rent for any of those functions, which is really remarkable. Over the decades, Sam has worked toward uniting the community under a common slogan, Save Our City. He has helped lead efforts to support smart growth development that ensured traffic alleviating measures to big projects and actively promoted small businesses through economic development on the El Camino Real corridor. While Sam was on the Economic Development Committee, he helped build strong partnerships between business owners and the Chamber of Commerce. He was also instrumental in organizing the first ever El Camino Real business walk sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. In addition, inspired by his wife and daughter, Sam has been a champion for women's rights, justice, and equality. Through his political circles and local Democratic club, he has assisted the women's movement groups in Northern California with efforts to ensure that women have a voice in the county and state party endorsement process, and that there is a platform to address their needs and concerns. Finally, in 2018, many of Sam's friends and associates encouraged him to run for office. Having played a backseat role on many issues, he decided to move to the front lines and announced his candidacy to run for the Santa Clara City Council. Sam should be proud of the final outcome that garnered him nearly 30% of the votes cast as a first-time candidate, which is very significant. All in all, Sam has taken a keen interest in local affairs and has participated in numerous enterprises that have left a lasting impact on the 10th Senatorial District. Please give a warm welcome to local hero honoree, Sam Kumar.
So now I would like to introduce a small business leader and the host of Business on the Edge on the AM 1220 radio KDOW, Margaret Jackson. And on deck will be Julie Lynn. Margaret? Here she comes. To introduce our next honoree. There.
Good evening. Greetings, my name is Margaret Jackson, and I proudly serve as the director of the Alameda County Small Business Development Center, in addition to being a radio personality for AM 1220 KDOW Radio and iHeartRadio. Glad to be here tonight, everyone. It is truly an honor and privilege to introduce you all to tonight's next honoree, Daniel Newell. Would you join me? Before I read this wonderful words about Daniel. I'm going to go off script. I'm going to take a page out of some of your other, those that were ahead of me. I met Daniel in 2012 at an event with Assembly Member Kansen Chu. And at the time, he was a council member for the San Jose District 4. And Daniel just kind of stood out. He's a young guy, just kind of stood out. I think his hair was green or purple or something. But in any case, it's been all of those colors anyway. But what I loved about Daniel is that he's just an innovative young man who just won't take no for an answer. He's gonna do the thing that no one else thinks of. He's kind of the Steve Jobs of the Career Center of colleges, and just dedicated to students getting their opportunities in today's world. And I so admire what he does, because I never know what he's gonna think of next. And so he's the next big thing, so just be clear about that. Mr. Newell has nearly 20 years of experience in employment and career services, workforce, education, and economic development. He has provided career services in the K through 12 community college and California State University systems. He currently serves as the director of the Career Center at Alameda College that receives federal funding under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA. He also oversees the Small Business Development Center, SBDC, for Alameda County, a program of the United States Small Business Administration, SBA. Mr. Newell has served as the commissioner to a major Silicon Valley city, where he advocated for library and early education policies. Mr. Newell has served in leadership and advisory committees to career centers. Let me back up. Let me say that one more time. Mr. Newell has served in leadership and advisory capacities to career centers throughout the greater Bay Area, and has provided insight to university representatives from across the globe. He even provided consultation to higher education delegations from the nation of Greece and Saudi Arabia. Mr. Newell has been featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur, ABC, USA Today, and many other media outlets, and AM 1220 KDOW, Business on the Edge with Margaret Jackson. Let's be clear. He'll be on tomorrow night. You can tune in from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. prime time. We will be live. Fox News announced Mr. Newell as a Latino on the rise, and he has been recognized by his city council and mayor for his innovation and success in career development services and leadership. Mr. Newell is a first-generation college student and holds a master's degree in public administration and a bachelor's degree in political science from San Jose State University, and also received an Associate of Arts degree in labor studies from San Jose City College. Please, everyone, help me welcome. He's already here to the stage, my friend, colleague, and cutting-edge innovation mind that I admire, Mr. Daniel Newell, to be recognized as a 10th Senate District Local Hero.
I'd like to introduce special guest Julie Lin, the Executive Secretary for the San Mateo Labor Council, to introduce our next honoree. And up next will be Councilmember Zermano. Julie, good to have you here. Yes.
Good evening. I'm Julie Lind, and I'm the head of the San Mateo Labor Council, and I'm also a lifelong resident of Senate District 10, proud native Milpetian. Hi, Carmen. And I am incredibly fortunate to be here to introduce the next honoree, my good friend and sister, Liz Ortega-Toro. Liz currently serves as the head of the Alameda Labor Council, and I could not be more thrilled and lucky to have her as a colleague. Liz has over 20 years of experience working with labor unions and community organizations to advance economic opportunity, social justice, and immigrant rights. She is also the first Latina to be elected to lead the Alameda Labor Council in the history of the organization. I think that deserves a round of applause. Liz runs the council's daily operations, such as implementing policy, serving as spokesperson, managing staff and finances, and directing program. Further, Liz oversees the council's efforts to empower union members working in a broad range of jobs across the public and private sectors. Prior to coming to the Labor Council, Liz was the statewide political director for AFSCME Local 3299, the University of California's largest employee union. As political director, she won passage of important legislation to prevent contracting out of service jobs at UC. Liz is also a former member of the Alameda County Workforce Investment Board, which set local program policies in alignment with the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act and ensured that there were comprehensive services for job seekers, youth, and employers. When not serving our community, Liz enjoys being at home and spending time with her husband and their 4 beautiful children. Now, unfortunately, Liz is really sick and couldn't be here this evening, so to accept the award on Liz's behalf, please welcome her husband, Jason Toro. These are for you.
So I'd like to introduce Francisco Zermino, who's a Hayward City Council member and a regular on our show here, to introduce our next awardee. And up next is Sarah Lamnan.
Buenas tardes. I'm Francisco Cermeño, a happy Hayward resident and shopper. And I've known Mr. Raj Nayar for a whole 30 minutes. Okay, so some of you have known your awardees for 20 years, 50 years, etc. Only 30 minutes. So why don't we have Mr. Nayar coming up here? Where are you? Okay. He's coming. I was not pleased at first when I met him because I found out he lives in Union City. But he tells me that he and his wife are considering moving to Hayward, so now he's a good friend. Possible good friend. All right, so just a little bit about him, and this goes back to 1900s, and it really shows that this man has heart. In the early 1900s, his father decided to immigrate to the United States in order to offer his children more opportunities. That's something that all good parents do. The Nayar family settled in Union City, unfortunately, not Hayward. He went on to attend James Logan High School. Very good school, I like it, but Hayward High would have been better. Ohlone instead of Chabot College. He hit it right with Hell's College because it was in Hayward, so that's okay. All right. He left his employment as an assistant manager in Milpitas to pursue his passion starting his own business. That is good. Small business owners are the backbone of a local economy, and that's very, very important. And with no prior experience in the restaurant business or the pizza industry, he opened his first Straw Hat Pizza in Watsonville, California. It's another reason to like him because my hometown in the United States is Salinas, California. So I used to pick strawberries over in Watsonville. All right. After several years of successful operation in Santa Cruz County, he opened up a second Straw Hat Pizza now in Hayward, California, heart of the Bay, center of the universe. And for that, I thank you. All right, good. And that was in June 2007. His third and largest Straw Hat was opened up in Gilroy, California in November 2015, and this is where something very special happened. He started his professional career in the field of companion, exotic, and domestic animal medicine as a registered veterinary technician working for Dr. Rourke Freeman at All About Pets Animal Care in Union City. Very good. At that time, Dr. Freeman also happened to be the consultant veterinarian for the Wildlife Center. Raj's impressive resume of community service includes his active participation as a member of the Gilroy Chamber of Commerce, not the Hayward Chamber of Commerce, and his sponsorship of numerous community organizations such as South County Tailwaggers, Indian Association of Santa Clara, Christopher High School wrestling team, good to help our youngsters, Gilroy High School football and wrestling teams, and various Little League teams. And then further evidence of Mr. Nayar's commitment to his community, he has participated and organized numerous fundraisers for various local groups. More recently, he helped the Gilroy Foundation in order to help the victims of the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting, and that takes heart. That needs a special putting our hands together. I like you, just for that. On the night of the tragic shooting, Raj drove from his home in Hayward. There's a typo here. Back to the Gilroy Straw Hat location. The rest of that night, Raj, along with a few volunteers, made and delivered food to the first responders and to the families of the victims of that shooting. Through those unfortunate hours, he made sure the community received some comfort and hospitality of their own backyard. That is commendable. Please, let's put our hands together for Raj Nayar again. I think he deserves it. Let's get his family up here. He's got about 50 people from Union City. Oh, that's right. His brother, sister, and brother are from Hayward. So that's come on up. Come on up.
So I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Sarah Lamon. She's with the Hayward City Council also, and she'll introduce our Nonprofit of the Year. And on deck will be Karina Lopez.
Thank you. little Hayward love. All right, I'm going to try that mic stand thing. All right, there we go. All right, good evening, everybody. All right, we can do that. Good evening, everybody. Hey, good, we're all still awake. Good job. So I'm really honored to make this presentation, and I want to thank the Senator and your team for this important event. My name, of course, is Sarah Lamnon. I'm proud to be one of the Hayward City Council members, and sorry, Francisco, but I get to present to a really made in Hayward nonprofit. According to the California Department of Foster Care and Child Development, there are more than 3,700 youth in foster care in Alameda County. 3,700. 18% of these are from South Hayward, and over 10% come from the unincorporated areas in our county. Out of every 5 children, 1 out of every 5 in California reside in foster care. Considering that youth in foster care, 46% of them don't complete high school, that 65% face homelessness, the need to serve this population and help them make a living from living their purpose is needed more than ever. Soul Society is a Hayward area nonprofit that aims to do exactly that. Incorporated in 2008 and founded by co-executive directors Ron Carino and Aaron Horner, son of our very own Chuck Horner. Soul Society is inspired by the vision that one day all youth will have equal opportunity to live a life filled with purpose and prosperity. At the center of Soul Society's values is a passion for the performing arts. They provide student artists with a platform to share their gifts with the community, with other youth. They host talent shows, they do benefits, they do school assemblies. Their acrobatics are amazing, you should see them. In 2005, Ron developed an overseas program to bring local artists to the Philippines where they performed, taught children arts education and literacy, brought gifts to share. And they return almost every year to this and evolve these trips into the Bridge program, which uses performing arts and community development fusing together with cultural immersion. Soul Society is deeply committed to using the performing arts as a vehicle to community development and, of course, for social change. The Empower theatrical production series has featured many of our young artists and activists, giving voice to members of our community who are both literally and figuratively unsung and overlooked within our community. During the 2011 show, one official in Alameda County was inspired by the work of Soul Society and championed the cause of the organization. And their focus grew from performing arts to youth development. And at that time, there was some federal funding to provide system-involved youth with job training and placement. And so when Soul Society was approved for that funding, they gave birth to the Youth Employment Program. And with their dedicated and relentless team, Soul Society continues to have some of the highest employment success rates with system-involved youth in the county and has emerged as a leader in youth employment. Following their success in youth employment, AC Healthcare Services Agency invited Soul Society to move its base of operations into the new Ashland facility and head REACH's youth employment program. The REACH, which is Recreation, Education, Arts, Culture, Career Development, Health and Wellness. That Ashland Youth Center is a large facility that provides services to youth age 11 to 24 right here in the Senate District 10. And Soul Society is one of the 7 main agencies providing services to youth in that collaborative facility. I remember working with Aaron and Ron and some of the other Society members when no one was quite sure how to pronounce the name, Soul Society, but now it is a moniker for principled work, for ethical behavior, and for thriving workforce development. And of course, a performing arts organization. They are dedicated to helping underserved system-involved youth to reach their purpose and fulfill their potential. So help me please to congratulate Soul Society as the 2019 10th Senate District Nonprofit of the Year.
And now I'd like to introduce Karina Lopez. She's the Vice Mayor of San Leandro, to introduce our Community Partner of the Year. Yes. Oh, you have, got it.
Well, good evening. How many of you know that Senator Wieckowski's domain also includes part of San Leandro? Did anybody know that? I feel really fortunate to also be able to call Senator Wieckowski our local hero in our community in San Leandro. I've done a lot of amazing work at the state level. He's also been a friend for years, and so I'm very honored to be asked today to be here. I'm Karina Lopez, and I'm the Vice Mayor for the City of San Leandro, and I'm very proud to be able to introduce the Community Partner of the Year, East Bay Family Defenders, which is based in San Leandro. Originally co-founded by Eliza Patton and Sabrina Aliguire, they opened their doors September 1st, 2018 to 1,200 clients. And if you can imagine, that was just a little over a year ago, and they opened to 1,200 clients. So you can imagine the need that they're filling and why they merit this award this evening. They started with a vision to advance equity and justice for families and child welfare. EBFD became their vision, reinforced with support from Alameda County Public Defender Brendan Woods, the Alameda County Children of Incarcerated Parents Partnership, and Root and Rebound, which advocates for parents re-entering their communities from incarceration. It takes a village effort, and to be able to collaborate with all those individuals and pull resources together in and of itself is a labor of love. And then to go out and actually do the work in the community. For folks that really, have just a very difficult situation of coming back into society and for their families, I really am inspired by this story. East Bay Family Defenders is a primary provider of legal representation for all parents of children in foster care in Alameda County. Through their model, they found that their mission is to keep families together, which is admirable, especially in this time. That is admirable and not something to be taken for granted. And minimize the time that children spend in foster care. So, this is serious business, and I'm really humbled again to be here and honored to be able to introduce this recipient. Their trauma-informed model provides legal defense, social work support, peer mentorship to parents so they can address their family's needs with real solutions and successfully exit the child welfare system. They value diverse experience that equips staff for delivering the highest quality representation. East Bay Family Defenders promote community-based preventative resources and restorative solutions that meaningfully strengthen families. The model they provide to the county prioritizes family reunification and prevents family disruption through foster care for families in Alameda County. Their approach includes an interdisciplinary team of specialized attorneys, social workers, and peer parent advocates who have personally navigated the system. East Bay Family Defenders adopted an interdisciplinary approach that has shown many benefits, including allowing children to exit foster home care 4 months sooner than average. You think about that, it's 4 months that they're not in the system and they're back with their families. Return to their home with their parents 43% faster in the first year after separation. And go home to relatives more than twice as often in the first year in a case when reunification is not possible. So this is really making a big difference in the trajectory of these young children, these babies, and what their life chances are in the world by having family reunification or being able to be in the family system with their own families. It means that their life chances are significantly improved. So I'm very, very honored today, and please give a warm welcome to the 10th Senate District Community Partner of the Year, East Bay Family Defenders.
All wonderful stuff. All right, so our last award, and it's up to me. I have the honor this evening of to give out the Unity Award to a person known throughout Fremont and Southern Alameda County as a selfless agent of change and a leader in numerous organizations that benefit the young and the most vulnerable in our community. John Smith serves on many nonprofit boards. Get a load of this, including the Alameda County Fair Board, Cadango, abode services that have been helping with homelessness for 30 years. He's also a commissioner on the Fremont Human Relations Committee. He's formerly served as the co-chair of Fremont's 4th of July Parade and has been a key volunteer of Safe Alternatives for Violent Environments, or SAVE. He served as a driver of both the Meals on Wheels program for Life Elder Care and the mobile pantry truck for Tri-City Volunteer Food Bank and thrift stores. And if he's not busy with all those chores and all those roles he plays, John's a member of the League of Women Voters of Fremont, Newark, and Union City, and actively participates in the creation of the League's voter information book, which is and the publication of the League's candidate forums every 2 years. He's had an active role in the Alameda County Democratic Party for over 20 years, and he's the past chair of the Ohlone Area Democratic Campaign. If that wasn't enough, John Smith is the current vice moderator for the Niles Discovery Church and a member of the ministry Property. Praise the Lord. John lives with his wife, Sybil, here in Fremont. I see his daughter, Valerie, and her husband, John, are here. I don't know if I see Sky or Jess, but Gracie and Madison, the grandchildren, are right around the corner. John, congratulations for being a uniter of people here in the Fremont area with all the diverse community that we have. Through your good deeds and your tireless dedication that you've given to others. It's an honor to recognize you as my friend and John Smith, and as the 2019 Unity Award recognition for the 10th Senate District. So that's our show, folks. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for all the recipients and the presenters that here. It takes a village, as they say, to get things together. Now, one of the traditions of the State of the 10th District is all the awardees get to come up with just the awardees, not all the friends, it's always good, but all the awardees come up with their awards for one last picture, and that would be grand. Thank you very much. Drive home safely.